Hello everybody, it's good to be back. It's been too long since I've made a video for this channel, and I just want to personally welcome back everybody who tunes into these to the money portion of the MCubed YouTube channel. But yeah, new hairstyle. Finally don't have some bunched up hairs up here. It's all nice and done. I figured it was long enough to finally get my hair done. But besides that point, guys, you know, there's been quite a bit happening in the crypto space. I know I haven't covered any of it yet. Crypto's down, everybody's freaking out. It literally, if you've gone on crypto Twitter, like even for a split second, it might seem like the apocalypse right now to everybody, and you know, you might think this thing is going to zero. So what I want to do is really set the stage for pretty much what I'm going to be going over today, pretty much, but also like what I personally think is going to happen, my personal opinion on, you know, pretty much what's been happening. Hopefully I help somebody. You know, that's the goal of these, right? Without further ado, I'm gonna actually transition over here to my charts and a little bit of a browser for whenever we pull up whatever we want to pull up. So I'm gonna really bring you guys' attention to the right side of the screen here. This is pretty much what Bitcoin's price has been doing for, I want to say, the past half a year, right? I did expect there to be some volatility here, and to be quite fair, I honestly didn't think it was going to break below this level. I do remember last time that we all were on this channel and I was breaking down pretty much somewhere around here how I was expecting a possible recovery and that I didn't want it to break these zones. Well, we broke those zones regardless. So officially, you know, we are technically in a bear market. This is the daily chart, which means that each of these candlesticks right here are representing a day's worth of price action. We've been down here for quite a few days now. We definitely don't want to see that type of structure if we were to want to see, you know, Bitcoin go towards the upside, right? This used to be a very bullish zone, potentially bullish zone, I guess I could say now. But what I really want to bring my attention back to is this area of price action right here. I remember whenever it retraced back from this bullish movement right here. I'm gonna make that just a bullish box, but this this wave right here, and then proceeding to retrace back down for potentially another continuation towards the upside. We never got that. Right? I wanted to kind of see it just sort of stair step upwards, you know, to where it will officially like break the previous all-time high and everybody makes money, and you know, we see possibly some butterflies and rainbows, but we never got that. And I'll explain a little bit on just I guess you could say it's a narrative on what really happened here, right? So whenever it made this initial retracement, this bearish wave to counter the bullish wave, it was smaller initially than the other bullish wave that we received. So technically this was a valid Elliott wave structure towards the upside, for those of you guys who do know Elliott wave theory. And so I slapped a Fibonacci right before I started recording this episode right here to go ahead and look back on pretty much what we would have wanted to see if we were expecting a bull market, or, you know, look out for the levels where we can expect to see sellers show up and give me signs of what kind of trend it would be if we continued lower. And what I noticed 10-20 minutes ago whenever I drew this on my chart, what I saw is that price retraced up to just the 38.2% level of this movement, and then continued to the lower side. Now, typically what we see with the average trend, if it is a typical trend, we'll see it retrace up to the 50% to the 61.8 level, maybe a little bit above that in the case that it's a little bit weaker, and then we'll see it continue down. Now that's a sign of an average trend. But when we see something, you know, go reach the 38.2% level, maybe break a little bit past it, but not quite reach 50% even, that's the sign of a very bearish trend, very seller heavy momentum going on, and there was not a lot of buy orders to be filled throughout this area of price. Sellers obviously outweighed the buyers. You guys don't need to know very complicated economics to really understand that, but I really say that just to set the stage of stating that this was a very strong sign of a downtrend early on for somebody who wanted to preserve their capital. Once they saw this this low be broken, they might have wanted to go ahead and, you know, find an area where they can go ahead and pretty much find the most optimal high probability price point for them to let go of their assets and go into something more less volatile, like a stable coin like USDC, Tether, whatever. I don't recommend Tether though. USDC is possibly one of the most reliable stable coins at this point, which I don't really enjoy saying because, you know, it's more of a centralized coin, and, you know, we live for decentralization if you're really about the crypto movement. But this is where, you know, a lot of people would have looked to sell, right? It's after the bottom of the retracement, it wicked in. That was probably the best price area to go ahead and liquidate some Bitcoin into some stable coins, so you can wait for down lower and buy back for more holdings pretty much. Like I said, we broke past, you know, these lows of this pretty much extended flat retracement of Bitcoin's expansion, which puts us in a temporary bear market. Now, I really don't think we're going to zero, guys. If we would have went to zero, I firmly believe that it would have went to zero by now. It would have been outlawed in several countries. We would have seen a lot more negative of a sentiment all around the world whenever it comes to crypto. That goes without saying that there is already a very negative outlook globally at the current moment about crypto, just due to the panic people have been experiencing. I personally did not expect it to go all the way down to the $20,000 level, but I did know that it was a possibility. You know, there's a lot of untouched imbalances of, you know, buying pressure that was made within this whole area right here, right? We just have a big old imbalance. It almost looks like there was no selling going on at all around here, right? We're seeing it retouch this area for the first time ever, you know, and this was back in December of 2020, 1.5 years ago. So at the end of the day, guys, it's still technically healthy price action. Now, obviously, I would be concerned if we saw this thing go down below, you know, the previous lows of the market, but that would be a very apocalyptic scenario whenever it comes to crypto. And I just want you guys to just be wary. Don't let emotions get to you. The emotional market cycle is still very relevant. I always love to bring up this image right here because it's a very accurate depiction of what a market cycle can give in terms of emotions to the average person, and, you know, typically what they see in certain price points. Now, this is typically like the progression of an average market cycle, and I'm gonna go ahead and bring it here side by side so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about, because this is pretty much identical structure almost. You know, this is the disbelief wave right here. It's a little bit more exaggerated in reality than, you know, on the chart, but, you know, this could be of any proportion. You know, typically we see it just break the structure of a long consolidation, and that would be the disbelief wave before a correction, and then, you know, that's where we see the hope, optimism, belief, thrill, and euphoria. That's kind of what we see down here. Big consolidation wave, and then break of structure past this point. That's the disbelief. Boom, we retrace. We see some optimism. The belief starts whenever we break a previous high, and now it's getting into new price discovery. That's the real, you know, kicker. That's where people start waking up to the potential of what, you know, asset that they invested in. This could be corn, this could be oil, this could be gold, the S&P 500, NASDAQ, whatever market you're in. You know, that's what we want to pay attention to, is our emotions, because if we're invested in something like this, we're definitely going to feel an optimistic feeling and, you know, emotions of strong belief into whatever we're holding. We start thinking that we're a genius whenever we get up here. That's the real thrill. And especially whenever we see that top, you know, that's past the point of where we feel just pure euphoria. We think we're geniuses. You know, people start doing irrational and bad financial decisions just because they think that they can, right? You know, someone might remortgage their house or take out a very hefty loan at a very big interest rate so that they can double down on their investments and they can make infinite amounts of money. And then that's where the correction and the negative emotions set in. And this is typically where people, they express or practice patience at the worst time possible. And so that's what we see with what's going on over here, right? We're seeing the worst emotions happening among people. I want to say that this could possibly bottom out soon, but you know, I just have to see more price action painted out throughout this chart, because as of right now, it just looks like somebody who would want to trade something like this, you know, an asset like this at the moment, they're catching a falling knife. This is literally just a vertical chart going on here. It's been back-to-back days of straight bearish candles. You know, there is a strong wick forming on this candle that is just starting to print, but that doesn't mean that it can't go down lower. We would just have to see structure play out and find its levels within this currency. So that's really what I have to say about that. Now, obviously, a lot of big headlines have been going down. You know, talk of the Celsius network being liquidated. They even froze account withdrawals today. Literally, what I searched up on Google is just the word Celsius, and all of this started popping up. Why is it crashing? Big withdrawals, this and that. A lot of major drama within the space, right? You'll see this a lot, you know, whatever time of the crypto market is right now, but a lot of people are paying attention to very sensational news. Binance resumes Bitcoin withdrawals after pause. Bitcoin plunges below $25,000, lowest level since December 2020. I really want to point this one out, right? A weak macroeconomic environment and systemic risk from within the crypto space have caused nearly 12 successive weeks of losses for the asset. I just really want to point out like the diction in the word choice that really like harps on people's emotions within these mainstream news outlets, right? You got to be mindful of the emotions that these headlines make you feel, because you are your greatest enemy whenever it comes to investing or trading any asset. Period. You know, the big money knows this. The people that manipulate the markets the most, that are in charge of the most capital, they know this, and they know where you get your information from. All right, they have limitless connections. With that type of money, they can know anybody on planet Earth. And I'm not going to get too deep into this because we're getting into some deep rabbit holes whenever I bring up these subjects, and I don't want to really like say too much because it will bring away from the focus of the actual conversation of cryptocurrency. Remember this image whenever you intake any fundamental news of the markets. Whenever you look at a price chart and you had just placed a buy for Bitcoin up here, or maybe up here, and you proceed to diamond hand your holdings down to this point, really pay attention to what's being said and what most people think about the market, because typically they are just following this to the T without being aware of it. Make sure that you are in charge of yourself and not your emotions. I'm saying that with all seriousness, because it can get very dirty very quickly whenever it comes to your journey and how in control you are of yourself. On a lighter note, you know, Ethereum's going through the same thing, shift in focus entirely. I was gonna bring something up about this this article. Pay attention to what the big money is doing. This and you know, Celsius, it's equivalent to the crypto community as everybody was with Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard defamation trial. It's taking your eyes off of the big picture and what's actually happening within the world and what's actually important within the space, because crypto projects are gonna come and go like that. Time will either promote or expose the bad companies or the good companies. What's really important are the people that are actually making the most money on the planet. Andreessen Horowitz, this is an article from back in May 25th, okay? Less than a month ago, raises $4.5 billion crypto fund to take advantage of bargains in down market. So there are smart money investors still actively accumulating more and more crypto, taking advantage of the sales that are happening within the market. Basically, what they are doing is they're using you for entrance liquidity. They're instilling fear in the average person so that they can sell at a loss and they'll buy up those discount prices from the people. The people think that the smart money has the lower end of the deal because the price is already down. Go ahead, it's still gonna go down. But the thing is, their money outweighs the average person. So if they buy enough of an asset, it will inevitably push the price back towards the upside. But while that's happening, they will still fearmonger you to keep the price as low as possible for as long as possible until they're satisfied with the amount of holdings that they have, and then they will stop covering the negative news. And that is when people start FOMOing in. I just basically broke down what the basics of how the emotional market cycle plays out each and every time. Okay, you can test this with other markets as well. The Silicon Valley firm announced a new $4.5 billion fund for backing crypto and blockchain companies on Wednesday. It marks Andreessen's fourth fund for the asset class and brings its total raised for crypto and blockchain investments to $7.6 billion. So it's not their first investment. They more than doubled their investment in their fourth movement, their total investment from the past three combined. So there's a very strong conviction whenever it comes to this market that's present from the people that are in charge of all this money. Just start paying attention to what they do and not what they say within these outlets, because it can get you caught up very quickly. And I don't want anybody here kicking themselves in the foot for not taking action and fully utilizing one of the most prime opportunities they will ever receive in their lifetime. Because it's going to happen, guys. These people know something if they are continuing to invest. They are too smart with their money to do something with their money that they know is not going to profit them. Because it's their job to make more money for their shareholders, or else they will get sued or fired legally. It's been a ramp towards the downside for both of these guys. We're seeing Tether, USD coin, just a bunch of different stable coins in the top 10 and ranked highly in the top 10 at that note. As far as the 7-day performers, we even see that here. Right? True USD, Binance USD, the Pax dollar, DAI, Tether. No real surprises here whenever it comes to the data that CoinGecko is showing. Kind of does visualize a lot of what I've been discussing throughout today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys got something of value from today's video. But that's really all the time I have for today. I did want to go a little bit more in depth on this whole category. But until next time, I appreciate y'all plugging in. You know, stay diligent, stay consistent with updating your knowledge about these markets. I'll catch you guys in the next episode. I'm gonna find out an outro so that, you know, I can be hip with the exit. But other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Appreciate y'all.